The Galactic Council had seen many species rise and fall across the stars, but none had puzzled them quite like humanity. Commander Vexthor of the Krillian Empire stood before the assembled delegates, his chitinous plates clicking with barely contained rage. "They are reckless, suicidal. No rational species would behave this way." His translator crackled as he gestured toward the holographic display. "I present evidence of their latest insanity." The image showed a frozen wasteland on a human colony world, called Nueva Terra. The planet's extreme conditions had been deemed uninhabitable by 17 different surveying species, yet humans had settled there anyway, claiming they liked the challenge. Ambassador Cural, a being of pure energy contained within a crystalline matrix, pulsed with curiosity. "What incident are you referring to, Commander?" 3 of their solar cycles ago we received a distress signal. A human research outpost studying the native fauna, creatures they call snow bears, was buried in an avalanche. We dispatched rescue teams immediately. Vexthor paused, his mandibles twitching. "They told us not to bother. They refused rescue?" The Corral's light flickered in confusion. "No. They said the human was already dead. A female scientist named Anna Chen. They located her body's heat signature beneath 15 meters of compacted ice and snow. Vital signs absent. They declared her deceased and retreated to wait for the thaw." The assembled delegates murmured in their various ways, whistles, clicks, bioluminescent flashes. The Krillian continued. "We thought this was merely another example of human foolishness. Their colonies on death worlds, their tendency to keep dangerous predators as pets, their bizarre custom of voluntarily jumping from perfectly functional aircraft for fun." Several delegates made sounds of agreement. But then the snow melted. The hologram shifted, showing the rescue team's footage. A young human male, Jack Morrison, the records indicated, led the search party to the exact coordinates. He was Anna's research partner, and he had refused to leave the planet, insisting on being present when they recovered her body. The team dug through the remaining snow, their equipment beeping steadily. Then Jack's hand burst through the surface and he froze. "What did they find?" asked Corral. Vexthor's voice dropped to something almost like awe. "She was alive, 18 days buried in ice without food, without water, in temperatures that would freeze methane. By every biological metric we understand, she should have been dead within hours." The hologram zoomed closer. Anna lay in a small cavity, her body curled in an impossible position. Her face was pale, lips blue, but her chest rose and fell with shallow breaths, and sleeping peacefully on her chest, nestled in the remaining warmth of her body, were 2 snow bear cubs. The mother bear had been killed in the avalanche, Vexthor explained. Anna found the cubs in her final moments. Instead of using her emergency beacon's power to extend her heating unit, which might have kept her alive a few extra days, she redirected all power to creating this small, warm pocket. "For the cubs," Jack's voice came through the recording, cracking with emotion. Anna, can you hear me?" Her eyes had opened slowly, unfocused. "Jack?" she whispered, her voice barely audible. "The cubs. Are they?" "They're fine. They're alive because of you, you brilliant idiot." Jack had laughed and cried simultaneously as the medical team swarmed in. "How are you even conscious?" Anna's response would become famous across the galaxy. "Couldn't sleep. They snore." The delegates sat in stunned silence as Vexthor continued. "Our medical analysis concluded she had entered a form of hibernation. Not true hibernation, which humans cannot naturally perform, but something their bodies apparently improvise when pushed past all reasonable limits. She lowered her metabolism to near-death levels, just enough to keep the cubs warm." "But humans evolved on a tropical world," Cural protested. "They have no hibernation capability." "They didn't," Vexthor agreed, "until they needed one. The medical team said her body had essentially rewired itself over those 18 days. She taught herself to hibernate through sheer stubborn refusal to die." Ambassador Thakal, representing the cautious Velusian species, spoke up. "This explains why we should fear them, not admire them. A species that can adapt so radically is dangerous." "With respect, Ambassador," Vexthor said, surprising everyone, "you're missing the point. Anna Chen didn't adapt to survive. She adapted to keep 2 helpless cubs alive. She chose hypothermia, starvation, and potential death for creatures that weren't even her own species." The hologram showed Anna in the medical bay, recovered after weeks of treatment. The cubs, now twice their original size, had refused to leave her side. Human authorities had made an exception to quarantine protocols, allowing them to stay with her throughout her recovery. Jack stood beside her bed in the footage, holding her hand. "You know you're insane, right? You could have died." Anna had smiled, scratching one cub behind its ear. But they didn't. Vex Thor turned to address the council directly. "In the 3 cycles since this incident, we've documented 47 similar cases across human space. Humans sacrificing themselves for other species, for children not their own, for creatures they'd just met. They run into burning buildings, dive into toxic waters, and shield others with their own bodies as instinct." He paused, letting the weight of his words settle. "Every species in this council pursues survival. Humans pursue something else, something we don't have a word for in any of our languages. They call it humanity. And I propose we stop trying to understand them and start being grateful they consider us friends." The vote on humanity's application for council membership was unanimous.